Hello everyone, Lawrence here from Unicorn Reviews. Now, back in August 2015, I reviewed the Logitech G910 Orion Spectrum keyboard, and like many other reviewers, I concluded that the new Omron Logitech Roamer G switches were really good, and sadly Logitech had screwed up both the styling and the ergonomics on the 910. So it appears as if they listened to all of us and they've now created the G810. Let's see if it's any good. At 1.2 kilograms, the Logitech G810 Orion Spectrum is pretty heavy for a relatively small full-size keyboard with dedicated media keys. The entire chassis is made from a very sturdy, high-quality plastic without any noticeable flexing, even when twisting the board. The top is matte and nearly rubbery feeling, whereas the sides are all glossy plastic with a very simple and elegant G810 logo on the right side. The vertical corners are rounded and those from the top to the sides are sharper edges. At first, these sharp edges and the lack of any wrist rest seemed like a problem to me, but I'm happy to report that it's all fine and the edges don't cause for any stress on your palms or wrists. There's no I/O on this board, just a single braided USB cable which terminates in a very nice looking connector. I love how consistent the styling is here, as they could have simply used an ugly generic USB connector. Other than the normal keys, which are all mechanical Roamer G switches, Logitech also includes 7 buttons for media controls as well as dedicated buttons for turning the lights and Windows keys off. The large rubberized volume dial is also a great addition. It makes the board more versatile than just an average gaming keyboard. On the bottom of the board is a very nice array of diagonal lines and 5 really large rubber anti-slip pads. To help with ergonomics, there are plastic razors which you can set to either 4 or 8 degrees. I ended up going with 4 degrees of a raise because without it the keyboard is a bit too flat, and at 8 degrees it's a bit too high up top. Even with the risers, the keyboard still feels very stable and sturdy. The Roamer G switches were designed and built together with Omron and are very different from the usual Sherry switches or copies of it. They have an actuation distance of 1.5mm, which is around 25% less than a Sherry MX switch. The switches require 45 grams of actuation force. In each switch are actually 2 switches, which is great for reliability. It also allows for the surface-mounted LED to be in the center of the switch with a plastic light tube, creating a very bright and evenly lit keycap. As a side effect though, there is much less light bleeding in between the keys. It's something I personally like, but I've heard from other people that they do like to have a lot of light in between keys as well. The LEDs are of course RGB and can be individually set to any color you want or turned off completely. In the box is just a keyboard and a manual. You have to download the software for LED customization on the Logitech website. I kinda like this because it prevents people from running old software on a new purchase. However, I am complaining here about the lack of LED customizability when you want more than just the average rainbow effect or reactive effect. Like for example on my Razer Black Widow, I have rainbow with reactive lighting. I really think Logitech has to create a suite similar to what Corsair and Razer have for this keyboard to really be awesome. The software does however have over 300 built-in profiles for all sorts of games, which I guess is a nice consolation prize. Now, typing on these switches is very pleasant. I find myself bottoming out less than on any other Sherry switch or Razer switch. There's much less noise and it's a little bit less fatiguing than the competition. These Roamer G switches do feel a little bit mushy, especially past the actuation point. It's almost like it's 75% Sherry MX switch and 25% of a really good rubber dome keyboard, which doesn't have to be a bad thing. I would definitely suggest trying these out in a store or on a friend's board before buying, because they are very different and you may not like it. What everyone will like are the new keycaps. The G910 funky angles are all gone and now we have keycaps that are usable for everything instead of just gaming. And this brings me to my conclusion. To me, it feels as if Logitech really listened to the community, to the reviewers with this G810 keyboard, and they've just gotten rid of all the things that they would do just to sell it to a 12-year-old. And now we have a keyboard with these awesome Roamer G switches that anyone can use in any type of setup. I just really like this keyboard. If I had to complain about anything though, it would be that the software simply isn't as good as what Razer or Corsair have to offer. There's just not the same level of customizability. You can set your rainbows, you can set your reactive stuff, you can set your cycling through the spectrum stuff, but you can't make your own custom effects as far as I'm aware. And please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments and then I'll annotate this, but I haven't been able to find that anywhere in the Logitech gaming software. So guys, if you like this video, press that like button. If you didn't like the video, press the dislike button. You can subscribe for when I do make a good video. It does go up on a Tuesday or on a Friday at 7 Central European Time. Subscribing is of course completely free. You get an update right away when something goes live. If you want to follow me even more than just the bi-weekly videos, you can of course follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, everything's linked in the description below. You can also support this channel on Patreon. It really helps me out a lot, and I want to say a massive thanks to John, who's been supporting the channel for a very long time. So thank you, John, I really appreciate it. But for now guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.